Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. Let's play the intro and then let's get right into it with the guys. Yes, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. And joining me this evening, it's a reunion. It's three of the Purely Arsenal podcast, but I'll go first to the man who bailed me out last week. I'll go back to him again. He's helped me to bail me out again. Neil Shah, how you doing?
Don't be silly. It was an honour to be on and always a pleasure. So thank you for having me, and lovely to see Mike as well. So great stuff. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Do you want to do Mike's introduction as well?
No.
No, fair enough. I was going to say you can if you want. It saves me a job. Yes, as Neil has said, Michael is. I mean, you can all see him and probably hear him on the audio version in a sec. But yes, Michael from Arsenal Above All is here as well. Mike, how you doing?
Yeah, good man. Thanks for letting me on your show, Neil. Good to see you as well. Yeah, should have been doing my show tonight, but all I'll say is, if anyone who's listening or watches who has kids, all I need to say is half term, and that's just thrown everything out the window. So that show will be on tomorrow night, and so I thought, let me jump on. You gave me the invite this morning, so I appreciate that, James. And now those kids are meddling kids, I should say, are fast asleep. Then let's get into it. Let's get our teeth into the shenanigans from yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a bit like Friday night when I've always said that some of it goes a bit too far for me, and this isn't just in terms of football. This is in terms of just celebrities and in general, where these people just follow them pretty much every single place they go. But seeing that picture of Saka and Timber in that hotel on the Friday sort of did make me feel a bit positive about obviously the game going into it on Sunday. And like you said, you messaged me earlier saying my show's not on tonight, so I thought, do you know what? I'll take advantage. I'll put him into the team. Something's cropped up. I can slide in. I can get a good rotation in there. And yeah, I think all of us were absolutely relieved when we saw that Saka and Timber were back on the squad. I know we all been worrying about it midweek. And Neil, we did that podcast, and I put the team up of what I thought would be if they weren't there. But I said to you, I do believe that would flip. And I know you don't like massively line-up questions, but obviously feelings when that team goes up, did you change how it basically? I mean, I still said I think the best we're going to get is a draw regardless of even if them two players are back, but did that change your feelings at all, or did you just think the same as well?
No, I think I'd gone with a 2-1 anyway, but seeing those two, both of them, I think even one would have been a boost, but seeing both of them back in the starting 11, it was a huge boost. And I thought, you know what, I think we might get something out of this game. So initially full of positivity, and as it transpired initially, it wasn't a bad start either, was it? But we will obviously get into the nitty-gritty of it all, and of course I'll have my say on a couple of things as well, no doubt.
Yeah, and Mike, what about yourself? Obviously, again, would you overly, I mean, it's such a big lift having both them players in there. You can argue basically about how Timber to some were more important than Saka was. But obviously, just such a big lift having both back. But did it change your feelings at all on the game, or did you think it pretty much went how you thought it was going to go anyway?
Obviously delighted to see both of them, getting kitted up. You kind of hoped it wasn't Arteta being a bit too clandestine, just putting them out there so he could throw Liverpool's tactics or what have you. But no, I mean, I think what happened the following day proved how vital these two were, and obviously, we just got to hope now that we manage Timber through it, because I don't think he's properly trained for the last couple of weeks, and he's got thrown in, did what he could, and fair play to him, and kind of the same with Saka. But we know Saka probably was always earmarked to play in this game ever since that injury, which he got on England duty. So yeah, it was great to see them both, and yeah, it gave you a boost, thinking, yeah, we can get something from Sunday.
Yeah, and obviously you said it, Neil, there about starting quickly, and I think it's our last 3 games that we've actually played against Liverpool. Obviously at home, then at Anfield, and then again at home yesterday. Scoring early, just getting to them early, and we had that exactly the same again. Ben White absolutely just pings a lovely ball into Saka, and he takes the touch, takes it past Robertson, who I was so grateful for. I mean, Andy Robertson, I know I've got Scottish ties with the family links and what have you, but he's an insufferable bastard, Andy Robertson. He really is. I've got no time for the guy whatsoever. So for Saka to sit him down like that, and then not just finish the ball, not like a nice little Thierry Henry side finish. That's have some of that finish, pick the bones out of that one finish. And 50 goals now in the league for him. He's the 7th youngest player to do so. And he's the only one out of that list of 7 that's not an out-and-out centre forward. I know that Ronaldo, obviously, when he started, was playing wide like Saka is now. But by the time he got to the 50 goals, he had played down the middle. But Saka's never played as the centre forward, and he's done that. But I'll go to you first, Neil, on the goal, and then obviously to Mike afterwards. But yeah, it's the usual time, like I say, wax lyrical Saka time. Off you go, Neil.
Well, it straight away showed us what we've been missing, right? The last couple of games that he's missed. He rarely misses a game. He missed 2, I think it was, and it showed the massive gulf that we have when he's not there. And I think now people who sometimes feel that he might be having a bad game will now appreciate that when he's there, what a difference he makes. But having said all of that, it was nice to see the start. I think it was full of intent and desire, and getting right at them right from the off. And I think that's what was needed. I think if there was any way to beat them, we had to get off to a quick start, and that's exactly what the players did. But credit has to go to Ben White as well. I mean, that was one hell of a ball. He's been getting a bit of criticism this season. Maybe he's not being at his best, but that was one hell of an assist. Beautiful. But after that, it's the Saka show. I mean, he just completely leaves even the defender makes him look stupid. And then, as you said, he could have just caressed it in, couldn't he? But nah. I'm going to make sure everyone knows I'm back. It was that kind of sort of like statement from him. I'm going to let everyone know by literally bursting that net, hopefully ripping it apart. I loved it. And you saw his celebration, didn't you? Just the way he stood there and said, yeah, it's me. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I think I think he's got to be, if not the most important player we've got, he's got to be in the top 2 or 3. He has to be. And even throughout, even after that, some of the stuff that boy does with his feet, the skills, the way he can completely bamboozle defenders, it's just remarkable. I mean, I was watching it in a pub full of Liverpool supporters. It's odd, isn't it? I'm in South London watching it in a pub and they're all Liverpool supporters. Couldn't work that one out, please. Someone help me out here. And obviously all got on the bandwagon when Liverpool were dominating in the 80s, right? But anyway, and even they were saying he's just an unbelievable player. You've got to take our hats off to him. So all credit to him, always.
Yeah, and Michael, yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Echo what Neil said. He's called the Star Boy, so I think might have to be calling the Star Man now, because just like Neil said, the way he stood there after he celebrated that goal was like, yeah, I'm the man. He's not played for 2 weeks. He's probably hardly trained for the last couple of weeks, and he comes in and scores a goal like that. As you said, he sent your boy Robertson for a battered Mars bar or whatever it was. He was sitting there munching it when he saw that go top bins. Yeah, amazing finish, a world class finish. We should all say as well, from a world class player. I mean, not just the goal, just the way he manipulated the ball, the way he moved it, the decisions he made with it. And obviously, we'll get into it a bit later with some of the performance of the guy on the other side of the pitch. With some of his decision making and the way he used the ball. But when you see what Saka does, the levels that he's operating at now, it's so impressive. It's just so consistent. As you say, James, in the chat, and if it numbers, the guy, you can't help it. He just keeps on producing numbers, and let's hope let's hope we can, get past. Obviously, we going ahead, but we can just manage him for the next couple of games, because as we know, we've got some massive trips coming up, which is insane. I don't know how the fixtures are sorted them out like that, but amazing stuff from Saka, and perfect start.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to you first, Mike, and then Neil after. But for me, there's so much about Palmer, Foden, and yet I don't want to try and make it sound like Saka gets no praise whatsoever apart from Arsenal. But I don't think that goal has been spoken about enough for me. I think it's, and it just goes back to the discussion that we had last season where he's, and it come from Mr. Rio Ferdinand, one of Neil's favourite people in the world, I know, where, he's not world class yet. He's not done it in the Champions League. And I think, what did he do? Like at our start of our Champions League campaign last season, weren't he like the top goal contributor in the group stage or something? And it was like, is he world class now? And I just for me, again, and I go back to something that Melvin mentioned on one of the early podcasts in the season that really made me laugh, about how if you actually look at the goalposts, there's little tiny wheels that are attached to them because they keep being moved constantly. And I don't like saying it, but to me, I just feel that if he maybe played for any other team, I think Saka gets there. I don't know if it's an Arsenal bias or what have you, but I can't. To me, I could support anyone else in the league, but I would just go, that guy's undeniable.
Yeah,
because I do it with other players from other teams. I look at them and go, oh, come on, like I can't. When he was at his pomp, Gareth Bale, couldn't abide him because you knew he'd always score against our. But you had to sit there and see some of the goals that he's. I mean, another one, Eden Hazard. I used to sit there and go, oh, come on, like. And then people would go to me, no, I hate him, James. I'm like, yeah, I hate him. But come on, look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's taking the mickey. And I don't know what it is with Saka compared to other players that he just gets no love, Mike.
I think we know. I probably know what part of the reason is. Yes, he plays for Arsenal, and that's 100%. And you've only got to look at, as you said, the way the media talk about someone like Palmer, who's been around for a fraction of the time of Saka, and in terms of consistency and longevity, he's nowhere near. But yet this guy's been hyped up to be world class and the best player in the league and stuff like that. Because I think people just look at, again, I think in this way people analyse that football is just like it's goals. If someone's scoring goals, that means they're good. Not knowing that goals can often mask the way someone actually plays the game. You can see what's happening with Bellingham now in Madrid. Maybe change it, maybe a different tact on it, but he's getting pelters because he's not scoring any goals. He's still doing the same things. He's still moving the ball around. So I think with Saka, because obviously he does score goals and he does produce numbers with assists and stuff. It's just, for me, it's a combination of maybe the face don't fit as well. And you've only got to look at the way the media talk up someone like Cole Palmer and Foden, and talk up Saka when Saka's been done it for such a longer time. He's been more consistent. Foden's had such a supporting cast around him, whereas Saka's pretty much been the poster boy for us when we were in the trenches, basically when we were struggling. We were getting turned over. But all the Midland clubs came to the Emirates and turned us over, and it was, finishing 8th and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it's so obvious that Saka is an elite talent. But you know what? If they don't rate him, which they haven't for the last couple of years, it's not affected him, has it? He's just gone on and continued doing what he's doing. He doesn't care about all of that. He just wants to play for Arsenal, win for us. And I just hope we can get something over the line, because again, they deserve it. They really, really deserve it.
Yeah, 100%. And Neil, what about you? I mean, we've all got stuff that we want to say about people in it. I mean, there's more about people in the media coming later on, I assure you. But yeah, what about yourself with this, this lack of, maybe, I don't want to say like praise, but just just lack of acknowledgement for Saka, I feel at times from other people. I mean, all of us, say it. Like I say, wax lyrical is the word I use all the time. But I just don't get it myself. What about you?
I've never understood it. I don't know whether it's jealousy. The weird thing is, I'll just throw a thing in which you might be surprised at. I do remember when Henry was flying for Arsenal, he used to get a lot of praise, and that was from outside. So in that, when you look at it like that, just playing devil's advocate, he couldn't really say it's an Arsenal thing, because obviously he was doing it for Arsenal, and we were having so much success with him in our team, with what Wenger was doing with the team. So that baffles me a little bit, because at the end of the day, what Saka's doing, if anyone who knows anything about football, they'll appreciate it and think, like, you're very much what you just said, James. You were appreciating other players, even though you may have even hated those teams. And even those teams were leading to us being, put to bed, if you like, in some crucial games. But yet you'll still say that, look at that, I've got to applaud that. And you've got to appreciate the player. So why doesn't Saka get this? Especially when the irony of it all is he's such a lovely guy. He's not even, some players, they've got a bit of an attitude. They might come across really cocky and you think, flash git. All right, he might be good, but, stuff him. He deserves all the negativity. But he's just so likable. And it's almost as if when he comes across like that in the interviews, he's just the way of his life, his whole mindset, his attitude to the game, his approach to life to help him for, advance in the game and in his professional career. All of it is you can't question it, but he does it with humility. He's not even a show off about it. So I have not got the answer, James and Michael. I have no idea why he's hated. If he'd gone on, on interviews and said, "Yeah, I'm the best. It could be, I deserve this." You can understand a bit of hate for the guy, but I don't get it. And even on the pitch, he's not going out and trying to take people's legs out or cause them serious injuries. He's just trying to play the game. Even when he gets battered to the floor, he just gets up. He doesn't go and confront someone or be nasty to anyone. He doesn't go and confront the referees and be nasty to them. He just gets on with the game. So it just confounds me as to why he's getting this negativity. I don't know the answer, but it's just bizarre.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. But back on the game, obviously straight away, Virgil van Dijk. I mean, they have the chance with Salah, where Saka plays the ball to Moreno and he just completely misreads it, and then Salah just lashes one. Should have done better, actually. Looking back on it, I mean, David Raya, who we'll touch on later as well, his positioning for that's quite poor for me as well. That was a habit for him throughout the game. I know he made a few big saves at crucial times, but there were a few times where his positioning for me was completely wrong. But yeah, Van Dijk obviously scores from the corner, and it's so frustrating. And I'll go to you first on this one, Neil, because I know we talk about this a lot. But Havertz obviously misses the initial flick off Diaz, and then Van Dijk just reacts. It's a bit like against Bournemouth the week before. It's just so fast and so quick, you can't really do anything about it. But the annoying thing for me there is that it's Virgil van Dijk who, before it, has this tangle with Havertz where does just kick him once, and it's a kick. Anyone else, I think that's a yellow card, at least. You get at least one. But he has two nibbles at him. And we've seen that these lot, they can produce two yellow cards for one instance. Only done it once against one team, though. But we've seen it happen. And yet, he doesn't even get one booking, Neil. He just gets away with everything.
You want to get me started on the corruption bias? Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, there's more to come, but yeah, this is just the first.
I've got 5 minimum. There's probably more in the game. I don't know what I've almost given up on the game. I just feel that there is corruption at the top, at the PGMOL. It's just so all season I've been saying it's now every single game. And it always seems to be, and I'm just going to talk about, I'm not saying, but Wolves get it. I'm talking about us. I care about our team. I don't care about any other team. I care about Arsenal. And it's happening to us all the time. Now, even fans from, some of my friends who support other teams, even they're now saying it. To be fair, the decisions you get against you are unbelievable. It doesn't make any sense. Martinelli got those 2 yellow cards in quick succession. And I'm sorry, but if that had been I'm saying it. I know it's a cliche, and everyone's probably sick of hearing the same thing. But if that had been an Arsenal player doing that against a Liverpool player that early on in the match, at least a yellow card would have been shown at the very, very minimum, if not a red. He took him out. He hit him twice. You're absolutely right. And nothing. The referee just waves it on because he doesn't want to ruin the game because it's not an Arsenal player or someone wearing a cannon. End of the day, if he'd got reprimanded, it might have changed his mindset a little bit of how he's approaching the ground. I'm not saying that would have changed the corner at the end of the day, because the corner at the end of the day, I think it was. I don't think there was much we could have done about it. Sometimes we analyse. We've done it so much on the Purely Pod. We analyse what could we have done better to stop that goal. But I think you're right. I think it was very much like the Bournemouth one. It was too fast. I don't think anyone really could have done much about that. It's one of those things. It was a good corner. I'll put my hands up. But I think if he was on a yellow card, things may have been different. His mindset may have been different. He might have not been so eager to be in the box to attack, because if he'd created a foul, he could have got another yellow and got sent off. That's the point I'm making. But
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say about
I
that.
agree with you, Neil, because for me, I think to myself that, like you put there, I don't want to send him off because it will ruin the game. Okay, you don't have to send him off, but you've got to book it. That's two nibbles,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't a case of, that's just a foul to break up the play. He's literally raking him, like he's nutting him, but pretty much, and I don't.
And he stood over it. He stood over him
Yeah.
as well when he's on the ground, as if he was going to do something
Yeah.
to him, which is aggressive as well.
Yeah.
And yet, it's
what constitutes violent conduct anymore, Mike?
Oh, mate. I've been saying for years, they're not fit for purpose. And the one thing you can say, there is a massive dossier of evidence. People want to say that we've got tinfoil hats on, or conspiracy, but you can see it. And like Neil said, I've had a few messages from people that don't support Arsenal, and they've said, you definitely are getting ref differently. This, I'm sure you've seen loads of stuff on Twitter of people, or Chelsea fans, United fans, even Liverpool fans saying, wow, there's something going on there. And we are being ref differently. We've all said it. You said it. Neil said it. Melvin said it. We are just ref differently, and like Neil was saying with the yellow card, that's why when they say referees can change games, how many times have they given our players yellow cards for their first tackle or first indiscretion, and then that puts that player on the back foot and they can't be on the front foot anymore. So it does make a difference. Like you said, Neil, if Van Dijk gets that card after 5 minutes, then all right, he maybe still scores the goal, but then we know there's certain situations we can put on him and see how he's going to react with it, and he's going to be a bit timid. And we know Van Dijk's got that in him. We've seen some times where he's defending and it's been shocking. People forget about that when he sort of lets goals by, but he's the best defender in Premier League history by all accounts. So for me, that yellow card, if he deserved that. McAllister got a yellow, but he should have had one beforehand because he was just taking swipes at Saka all day. Nunez should have had a yellow card because he took out Saka, and I'm sure there was his stat where it had the time that Arsenal used to get yellow cards and red cards, and the times that Arsenal opposition used to get yellow cards and red cards. And Arsenal, the majority of Arsenal, of the red cards opponents used to get, about 70% of them used to be in the second half, like late on in the game. So it had no real influence in the game. It wasn't in the first half. Whereas a lot of Arsenal's red cards were either after 25 minutes or the first 5 minutes of the second half. So it's a massive difference where we've got to defend for a longer period of time, and the opposition only have to see out maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So there is definitely a massive discrepancy, man. It's so blatant. It's so blatant.
Can I just go and change the flow a little bit and just come up with something? 'Cause I just need to say it, and I'll probably be stepping on your toes as a host, James. But I just need to say a couple of things. The first thing is, what Melvin has written in the comments is so bizarre. I was talking to someone else about exactly the same thing, that I've just fallen out of love recently, and it's destroyed my enjoyment of the game because I just can't deal with this anymore. I was even reluctant to go to the pub and watch it, but I went because I was meeting some old friends of mine to see the game. And I said right from the start, I said, if we drop points, it's not going to just be because maybe we haven't played well, but we're going to get a couple of really bad decisions against us, and we're not going to get it's not going to be a level playing field. Again, it happens. Again, it's the fact that it's every game. You just feel I'm not looking to watch a football game anymore when I approach these games. I'm looking to see when the first bad decision is going to go against us. How can you enjoy the game?
Neil,
how can you sit there and enjoy the game?
Neil, they took 3 minutes. They were
Yeah.
trying to disallow that Marino goal.
I know that.
It took 3 flipping minutes. I mean, I dropped a voice out. I was steaming, and the kids were looking at me like I was mental,
as soon
and
as
I was
you saw
going
the
mad.
feet,
I was like, "You're trying to disallow a perfectly good goal. You can see that Van Dijk's foot, which was ironic, because obviously, he played him onside, but they tried to disallow that goal. They tried. It was unreal.
I know, and then did one of their players kick the ball away? Nothing given.
Yeah,
You know what? And you know what makes me laugh? I can't remember what show I was watching. It might be Match of the Day. The commentator goes, "Oh, but it needs to be a hard kick." Oh, really? So then, what happened to the Rice then? Rice Rice literally just moved the direction of a ball that was going at 0.001 miles per hour, and he just feathered it. So sorry, it only depends on how hard it's kicked. If it's a non-Arsenal player, yeah, right. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. And I'm also going to say this because people will say I'm making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. I'm going to be the first to say we are nowhere near the two we were last season. Last season, we were going out and smashing teams apart 4, 5, 6-0, setting records. We were absolutely dynamic. We were full of creativity. We were putting the ball in the net. It doesn't matter if we didn't have a designated striker. We were going out there and obliterating teams. I know that. I'm not stupid and I'm not deluded. I'm not trying to make excuses. But what I will say, and we haven't come out of third gear this season. We haven't. Michael, you said it to me the other day. You said it was coming when we lost to Bournemouth. You're absolutely right. It was coming. But these decisions still influence the game. I don't care what anyone says. Because, but we were playing rubbish. It doesn't matter. You still have time to improve if you've got a full set of players or if you haven't had a stupid decision go against you. And that's what I wanted to get off my chest. And I'm sorry, James, but I'm just sick of it, mate.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. And then, that just brings me into these two things I want to talk about quickly here. Obviously, Moreno, Declan Rice, who, for me, best game he's had in a long, long time. I thought that's his best game of the season yesterday, Declan Rice. I thought he was excellent. Funny enough, playing at the 6, not at the 8. I thought he had a great game. I think overall, in terms of balance of him and Moreno, that's the best they've looked together. Trossard, I'll leave that to later. But yeah, I thought in terms of them two in the midfield, that's the best they've looked as a partnership. But yeah, Moreno misses a sitter, which was the warning. And then obviously we get the second one, and it's a brilliant header from him. We've talked about that side of his game. We all said that we saw in the Euros what he did against the Germans, and we were all like, "That's going to come for us eventually." And I mean, he gets his goal there, Michael, and I can't help but feel I was very impressed with him yesterday, Moreno. I thought he started shaky, but
shaky. That error when he let the ball go under his foot and led to that chance for Salah. But yeah, I thought he was very, very good. You can still see he's trying to find his feet in terms of positionally, where to stand, where to press and stuff like that. But as the game wore on, showed some lovely feet. There was a lovely bit where he brought the ball down. A cross looked like it was going out, and he managed to bring it down. A bit like Bergkamp would. And showed some really nice little touches around the corner and stuff. And yeah, happy for him for the goal. Looked like he done his shoulder in again when he missed that chance, but I don't know whether he was just trying to, trying to forget. People think about him missing a sitter. I think he got tackled by Partey. It looked like Partey got in the way for that. But no, happy that he got the goal. He did his celebration around the corner flag as well, which was good. But yeah, man, he's adds another string to the bow, and it's going to be interesting when Odegaard comes back. How Arteta's going to line that midfield up, because you can't really drop Partey from there because he's been brilliant this season. I'm sure we talk about him in a bit, but he was sensational on Sunday. But yeah, happy for him. You always want a new signing to hit the ground kind of running, get a goal first, and or get an assist, and feel part of the team. And we've got some. We go against his old club at the weekend, so hopefully he'll get another goal there. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, Neil, what about yourself on not just Moreno's goal, but overall yesterday? What did you think of his game overall?
I thought he was rubbish initially. I'll be honest. And I was going to get him off, get on Ethan, because I love Ethan. I want him on. So it was my excuse, wasn't it? Get him on. What's this, Mourinho? Get him off. He's not there. He's not there yet. He needs more time. So give Ethan his minutes, for goodness sake. Give Ethan his minutes. So no, I wasn't happy with him initially. But then when he did that mistake, I was like, oh my God, I'm vindicated. Definitely get him off. Who's this player you've signed for God knows how many million? I was just doing a nasty little cynical, miserable old git, I'm telling you. But then, I think as you guys have just said, there's no point in me going over old ground. The way he just came back into the game and that header, it just, as soon as, you're so strange that you said that, because as soon as he put that ball in the net, I'm like, Euro final. Straight away, I thought that's why we got him, for that reason, to add that extra. And you were talking about, Michael, about, Odegaard returns. Well, then this is what we've got him for the rotation. And we're going to need it. If we do, hopefully, go far in the cups, especially the Champions League, we're definitely going to need him. We're still going to be playing 3 games up until January, a week, roughly. So if Odegaard hopefully comes back as soon as possible, and then we've got the option of rotation with Mourinho. But I think you're right; he's fitted in. He's started to fit in a lot better with his teammates, and I think still a lot more to come from him. A hell of a lot more. Just with the corner, I just want to say, how did you notice how our players initially were so far away from the defenders? And then it was almost like watching synchronized swimming. As soon as they knew Rice was about to take it, they all came in together and filled the gaps between the defenders, and bang, I loved it. That coach is superb. Our set piece coach is superb.
He is, he's worth his weight in gold, definitely. And I think it was his birthday today as well. So hopefully they done that for him yesterday as part of that. But I mean, we mentioned it a minute ago, and I put it out there yesterday, and everybody got quite a kick out of it. I think I said, didn't I, that the PGMOL asked to borrow the Hubble to watch the goal on to check to see how long it took. But this just goes back to, again, what we're saying. And I'll go to you first this time, Mike. Martinelli has the penalty incident. And again, it's 2 instances of contact, because Trent kicks him in the midriff, which the penalty that was given for Liverpool last week, pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
But then Konate thinks, oh, well, Trent's had a bit and got away with it. So I'm going to do my, deli counter, meat slicer, put the meat in and snap you in 2. How much do you want of this Billy Bear, mate? Give you a little slice up there. I couldn't believe it, because I thought to myself, they've got the bloody everything, they've got every man and his dog looking at the goal that we all know is onside. Yeah. And yet this one that's 2 instances of contact, straight away as well. Straight away dismissed. Not let's have a 3 minutes and get out my Etch-a-Sketch. And I mean, it was bad enough when they went to VAR. The guy's phone's got fantasy on, hasn't it?
Yeah.
See
I heard
that?
about that.
I couldn't believe that. I'm like, I'm going to who's Howard Webb got in his team? I'm disallowing that. He's going to get more points than me this week. I'm like, I know the players play fantasy and everybody, but there's a thing called subtlety. I'm like, don't have that shit on when you're doing a job like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was a bit like Webb the week, I mean, their boss doesn't set a good example texting someone with an earpiece in the week before. But I'm like, my word. I mean, you said it before, toy shop. I don't even think they're that good. I think that's insulting to toy shops now. For me, when I was at college, we all used to play this card game called Shithead. That's what we played. And everywhere I go, everyone's got different rules to this game Shithead that we play. Every branch of county, whether I go up north, whether I go, they've got this card does this in Arthur. And I'm like, right, are we playing English rules, Southern rules, Northern rules? This no rules, like what prison rule? What rules of this game are we playing? But it all pretty much stays consistently the same. But with football now, which has been the same forever, depending on where you are with this lot, it's a different game every single week.
Yeah. You're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. It's you only had to look at the penalty that was given in the West Ham United game, and then you look at the penalty that wasn't given.
I mean, it's funny, but it's lost the guy his job.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. It's crazy that they looked at that and they thought, no, that's not a penalty. You know, at no instance does either of them kick the ball. You know, they just don't kick the ball; they kick the man. It's almost as if, because obviously that came before Mourinho's goal. It's almost as if somebody wanted to make sure the game went in at 1-1. You know, for me, they weren't going to give that, and then they spent so long to try and disallow the Mourinho goal. It's almost like someone said somewhere was like, "Oh, you know, make sure we don't let them go in behind," because after that, you know, you saw every 50-50 was pretty much given to them, nearly every single one. You know, they even were giving corners that, you know, right at the end, you know, we should probably go to, you know, the blatant corner. You can see it. You know, he's actually tried to stop it going out. The linesman's right there, so there's no excuse. And he flags for a goal kick. It's almost like to say, well, we know how good Arsenal are at corners. We don't want to give them that in the 96th minute and you know, make Liverpool lose a game. So, yeah, Liverpool were definitely given a leg up, and they always are, to be honest. They say they're not, but they always are. I mean, we know why, because of the bias, you know, the northern bias up there. You know, Jared Gillett did his bit last week, you know, the week before, sending off Saliba and weakening us a bit, you know, because we saw that same yesterday. We saw an even worse situation with another best defender in the world. You know,
Dutch as well, funny enough.
Yeah, Roadrunner. Yeah, another one. They've got the best defenders in the world. We might as well get another one from there, isn't it, James? You know, giving a worse foul, more closer to the goal. And what was he given? He's given a yellow for that. Do you know what I mean? And Saliba gets one on the half, literally just 5 yards from the halfway line. It's just, you know, you can't keep saying it enough. We just ref differently, and we have to. I mean, we've all said it. Neil said it. You know, hundreds of times. We have to make them irrelevant. We have to just put it out of sight, like we did when we won the league last time. We've just got to make these referees irrelevant. And when they want to make their decisions, it doesn't matter because it's only 4-1 then, or it's only 3-1 then. You know, the game's already won. Because I think at the moment, as if we're, you know, games are in the balance and they make these decisions, which they have, it's costing us. It's costing us points. How many points have we lost because of their decisions? You know,
9.
Many already. Sorry, God, yeah.
Can I just the one point that you made there, Michael, about, you know, making them irrelevant and what we used to do in the Invincibles. That is absolutely spot on. 100% agree with it. But just remember, in the Invincibles, we didn't have VAR, and now they've got that to really ensure that they're going to make life so much more difficult for us than it was then. So yes, we were making refs irrelevant, even though they were against us then. They've been against us for decades. However, now they've got an added tool to help assist them to do that.
Yeah, and for me, I think you're both spot on, and everybody else has been spot on with it. But for me now, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I mean, I'm going to touch on him in a bit, don't worry, but I think you've got to get every single one of them in there and just be like, siege mentality, boys. You know, I think it was 2 seasons ago when we were doing when we come out the blocks flying at the start, when we were doing really, really well to start of the season, and then the bombshell dropped, didn't it, about the 115, and as soon as that come out, City, I don't know if to me, I think Guardiola sat them down and was just like, right, everyone's against us now, so we're here, but you know, a bit like the old Spinal Tap with the amp. You know, oh, why have you got 11? He did. They cranked it to it, and that's what I think. You know, get into him now, and like you've said, Michael, just be like, make these lot irrelevant. You know, second half, obviously the Gabriel injury, 54 minutes in, that's a big one. I've spoken to Jack because Jack knows more about this than most people I know, and I'm bombarding him with it. How long? What do you think? Let me know. Talk to me. You know, comfort me, Jack, with what you think. And yeah, he doesn't think it's as bad as what is being made out at the moment, but we'll wait and see. But what concerned me with that, I've got no problem, obviously, with Gabriel having to come off. He was injured. There's nothing wrong with that. And Kivior, when he come on, other than the second goal, which we'll touch on in a minute, fine with me. But that approach, to that second half, just you're 2-1 up. And I'll touch on it later as well about what we should be doing. You know, there was people saying the way we play, but I don't know. I mean, Martinelli, for me, why are you running it into the corner and trying to hold yourself 75th minute? You're doing that on the 75th minute of the game.
That was
If
crazy,
that's the 93rd, 92nd, I'm with
Yeah.
you, Gabriel. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you know what we're like. We're trying to win a corner. You never know. Well, they probably wouldn't have given it a corner, like you said. But to do that on the 75th minute, there's still like 20. I said there's still going to be 20, 25 minutes of this game left because he's going to give 7 to 8 minutes of extra time. You know he is.
Yeah, of course.
Brain dead. And I love Martinelli. Neil, I feel like we cursed him. We went semi-viral with that TikTok we did the other day, praising him, saying he's back to his best. And it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I mean, for me, and Mike, we had the conversation this morning, and I'll just bring up what I said to you. 40 touches of the ball yesterday, 61% on his passing. He had 4 crosses. Only one of them was accurate and actually landed to a player. 0 shots on target. Lost possession 18 times of the ball. And the biggest one for me, and the thing that's really, really upsetting me is that second goal now. I'll go into there. Kivior's getting pelters online for it again. And yeah, to me, he's all over the shop. And Skelly's getting a bit as well. I don't want to get on Skelly. He's a young kid. You know, he's not shown himself up brilliantly with it. However, I'm not going to get complete. That all comes from Martinelli, who all game bottled going against Canate. I don't know what it was. He just did not want Canate. Neil and Mike, when have you ever seen Martinelli? The ball's ping over the top, and he just don't even want to run. He don't want to have. He loves foot races normally, and he wanted none of them yesterday.
It was in the first half, and they played the ball over the top, didn't they, to him, and he was in the race with Canate, and Canate came across and just beasted him. And I think from then he just seemed to knock his confidence, because yes, against Trent he was giving him as usual. He was giving him a lot of problems, but yeah, I just think I don't know. His game IQ isn't where it should be for the time for the games that he's played, and you know, for me, when you look at, well, I think I mentioned earlier, you look at Saka on the other side. Forget me wrong. Did Martinelli play first, make his debut first before Saka, or did Saka? Because they kind of came through at the same time, didn't they? When under Emery, because I remember Saka was playing left back then, and he was getting loads of assists because he had the number 77 shirt and all that stuff like that. And Martinelli was scoring, like, you know, scoring his debut in the Europa. So I'm wondering who kind of came through first. But if you look at the development,
I want to say Martinelli did.
Yeah,
but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so you look at the development. You look at the development of the players in the game, sort of IQ as well. And for me, Martinelli just still wings it. You kind of don't know what he's going to do. You know, in terms of when he gets to that final third, you don't know whether he's going to cut it back or not. You don't know whether he's going to take a shot. You know, we had a shot in the first half, which was so wild. It just went, you know, rose head. I mean, Havertz had one as well. Went from that penalty sort of incident where the ball fell to him, and just a lack of composure, and is a worry now for me, Martinelli. For me, he just hasn't progressed as a player, and I think Arteta's starting to get the goat with him as well. He's made a couple of mentions in the post match interviews when he's talking about how that second goal came about, and it effectively came about with just Martinelli putting his head down and running into Canate again, rather than running into the space. If you look at it again, there's all that space there, and he's running into him. Yeah, I'm think Arteta's kind of, his patience is running thin, and we've seen it. He's tried to get against Bournemouth as well, a massive miss. You know, I think you've seen the last couple of years he's been looking to get someone on that side, whether that's Mudryk or Nico Williams. We've always been linked with a left-sided player. So, I think he might be on borrowed time, I think, personally.
And he dug him out, didn't he, as well? Which, I mean, indirectly, he didn't mention him by name, but we all knew who he was talking about.
But a lot of top gooners have said that he had a fantastic game yesterday. So I don't know what game. I mean, I've got an NFL shirt on today, so I probably was watching that instead of the game. But yeah, apparently he had a fantastic game, and yeah, he did a couple of good runs. He got around Trent a couple of times, but numbers. He's not producing it. He's not producing enough. And we've always said in an Arsenal team, end of the season, you've got to be getting double figures in either the G column or the A column. If you're not, then you're not doing enough to be in that team. And the guy on the right hand side is doing that, and the guy on the other side isn't.
Yeah, and Neil, I know you're desperate to jump in here, so I'll just quickly say this before. There's a lot that I mean, I know nothing. I'm not in that, I'm not in that changing room. I'm not. But to me, I feel a lot of it from Martinelli is, I don't want to say arrogance, but there's a whole of, well, I don't really need to do that because who are you going to drop me for? Because Sterling's not at the level. Jesus is not at the level. Trossard, you can't start, if you're going to start him, you can't start him as a winger. He's got to be either in a 10 position or up front centrally, because he doesn't give you. I mean, the people, like you said, Mike, people were saying, oh, you're just ignoring everything that he did off the ball and his defensive duties. And I understand Martinelli gives me huff and puff, but I need, like you said, I need the numbers. We as a team, we need the numbers, because we're going to get games like we have yesterday. And for me, I just thought it was cowardice. I there's nothing else I can call it than he just was rattled, and he had complete fear of at any time. And that's the thing. If you're going to put your head down and not look up, then don't run directly. Run round. But every single time he just run direct. It's like he just wants to run into the traffic, Neil. Whereas before, he's checking, he's zipping in, zipping out. I just don't understand what's happened to the guy.
It's like he's in his own world when he's on the pitch. He's not almost like his. We were talking about Jesus not being so much of a team player, but I think that's also in a weird way maybe true of Martinelli, because he's like you're saying he's just focused on the ball at his feet and he's not looking. He's not aware. There's no awareness. For me, if you talk about numbers, I think he's better defensively than as an attacker now. Honestly, I mean it. I think he did a couple of good defensive moves yesterday, but I was more impressed with his defensive abilities than his attacking, because literally the attacking wise there was nothing. It was a shell, and it's a shame, because we were going on and saying that we've seen the last game and a half such an improvement, and is he back? Has he got his mojo back? And it's like he's reverted again back to what he was before. And if you compare him to Saka, look at the difference in progress. Saka, progress, year on year. Martinelli's going the other way. If you took the Martinelli of it was a year after, actually, Michael, I just looked it up, I think, if I'm right. Saka actually made his debut a year before Martinelli. It was 2008 and 2019, respectively, yeah. But if you remember what the Martinelli that of 2019, they're two different people to the one of 2024. Completely different. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether, you know what, James, I think maybe there's something you've hit on there. Is that because he feels that he's got no competition? Do you remember a bit like Bellerin at one point? When we were playing Bellerin, he was absolutely phenomenal. And then Jack blamed it on his veganism and he went downhill. But do you remember when I was like, my God, no, this guy could never go to Barcelona. Please stop him from going to Barcelona. He was unreal when he first started. And then he was just like a completely different player. But I don't think at the time there was any real competition for him on that position. I think we were talking about it on our early pods. I think we were. And I think this is the same is true to a certain extent, that there's no real competition. So you see, Saka's an exception, because we've been crying for competition for him because we need him to rest. But the guy I think he's just he's an anomaly, I think, for me. He really is a footballing anomaly. He doesn't need that. He just wants to excel because it's just him, and he wants to be doing well as an individual and for his club that he plays for. I think Martinelli, there's so many different reasons. It could be a lack of confidence. I don't want to say think about that too much, because if it was confidence, he wouldn't have done what he did in the last game and a half. For me, I don't know. It's a difficult one, guys, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to hate myself. But if things don't improve, I think we've got to let him go. For me,
yeah. I think the manager pretty much indicated that And Mike said it, we're looking for a player in that position. I mean, Sterling's only a loan. And I think that was purely because I don't know if we're like on the verges of that FFP and they were like, look, we're watching you like we're watching everybody else. So you got to be careful. But then also, I think it was just an opportunity where we needed to sign somebody. He'd let Nelson go, he'd let Smith Rowe go, he'd let Vieira go, obviously let Nketiah go. So we needed to sign a forward player, and it just stumbled in his lap, a bit like the Trossard situation. He had enough at Brighton and was like, I'm done. And Sterling fell in his lap there for a wage that's probably much cheaper than we would have got a Kudus that we probably were looking at that we really wanted, or the other wingers that you mentioned, Mike. But again, the approach yesterday, to me, I'm like, why are we playing like we've got 10 men when we haven't got 10 men? We've got 11. And then also again, and I'll go to you first, Mike, and then Neil after it. The subs again from Mikel. Why is Saka and then Martinelli coming off on the 85th minute for Jesus and Ethan? When, to me, Saka, bless him, like we've said about earlier, but he looks about the 70th minute. To me, I was like, he's come back. Okay, he's had a week off and everything else like that from those England games and etc. Missed the game but I'm like, the guy's shot. I'm like, I can see that Saka is right, and I'm like, take him off. Take him off. Yeah. Bring your fresh legs on. And for me, Sterling, it's Liverpool.
Yeah, I can't believe
he's motivated. He's got a point to prove. I was saying to you, Neil, on the podcast that we did before, I'd love nothing more than see Sterling come on against Liverpool and bag against Liverpool, because he'd be right in there for it. Yeah. He'd be so in there for it. And again, no problem with Jesus and Nwaneri coming on. Nwaneri for me, I want him to start. Like you said, Neil, I want him to play more games. I want him to start. But it's again, do something in 6 minutes, mate. And it goes back to what I said before, and I've said this time and time again. Just Mike, not proactive, just reactive. And we're nearly in November. We're nearly at 6 seasons. Is it 6 years? 6 seasons in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what
we're like a month away.
Yeah, but this is what we said from the beginning with Arteta. We this was the issue is he's being able to see things when they go wrong and making the adjustments and making the right substitutions, and that was what we said to him about him right from the very off. And we all kind of said, all right, then he's his first gig, his first time as manager, and it will come. He will give him a couple of seasons and he'll sort it out. He'll be more proactive, and he's not. And like you said with Saka, it's like if you're going to take him off after 70 minutes, right? Then fine, okay. If you don't take him off, what's the point in taking him off at the 84th minute? You might as well play him the whole 90 minutes, because he was still doing stuff. He was still getting the ball, and he was still kind of drawing people to him and then slipping balls inside. So what's the point in taking him off for 6 minutes plus injury time? He's not going to play midweek against Preston, so you can just rest him.
Fingers
anyway.
Crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
you never know. He played him against Bolton, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I just like, why take? Why just keep him on? You just might as well keep him on, because he might produce something. He might produce a cross to Havertz. He might produce a free kick or whatever like that, or a corner or set piece. Why take him off with 6 minutes? If he's 70 minutes, take him off. Fine, that's right. That's absolutely fine. Then you give Jesus time, or you give Nwaneri time to do something, rather than giving them 6 minutes and just running around like blue-ass flies to try and do something, and then they end up getting injured because they're trying to condense things. And you saw Nwaneri was trying to do stuff. He's only got a few minutes. Yeah. Again, it was just too reactive, and the same. He did the same thing last week against Bournemouth. He didn't do anything until the goal went in, and when we all could see something was happening, we was all up against it. It's like, make the change. He's just, I don't know what's happened to this guy. And like you said, it was like we were playing with 10 men that second half. I get it. We've got a makeshift defence, but why would you want to make that makeshift defence be under more pressure to a cute ball around the corner and stuff like that? Why don't you just try and attack being the best form of defence? It literally was. I said that at the beginning. That's probably how we're going to win this game. We've just got to be on the front foot against Liverpool. Liverpool, we know what they're like. They're like those, it's Halloween, right? So they're like one of those villains, in those dodgy Halloween films. where when you got to kill them, you've got to give them 2 shots to the head, then you've got to chop them up, then you've got to bury them, then you've got to take them out to sea and bury them again, just to make sure you've done them over. Because with Liverpool, they're always going to be in a game, they're always going to come back. And that's what frustrated me. That 2-1 was never going to be enough. We needed to get a third. That's what we did last season when Trossard came on and scored. I can't understand it. He did it last season. He brought Trossard on, gave him a run, enough run, and he scored. This time he didn't do it. I mean, it's just too reactive. It's just too passive, man. And it's costing us. It's costing us, big points.
Yeah, and you're spot on about how you're saying it. You're inviting pressure onto a makeshift defence. Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, there's the one bit that's on social media and it's amazing because full credit to him. I mean, I really want to see him play Wednesday night, and that it's the bit with Lewis Skelly. I can't remember if it's Ray or Kivior plays him absolute hospital pass. It's ridiculous to pass, and literally, like you've said, 3 of them from Liverpool, like Nunes. I don't think it was Diaz because I think he was off, but it was definitely Nunes, Salah, and another one. They're all swarming on him, and you're just thinking you're done, and they're and then it's a 3-on-1, and it's game over, and he manages to spin out of that and play Rice in with a super. And that to me again, these young players, Neil. I know you keep going on about it as well, but these young players. You've got established internationals. Havertz yesterday, worst game that he's had in weeks. Trossard, again, another stinker. He's got, for me, I'm like, Mikel, what's wrong? You're so much clever than I'll ever be, but your memory I'm baffled because if it weren't for young players who, unfortunately, some of those young players have now gone, but they saved your job. That Boxing Day, if it weren't for all the Brazilians being a bunch of dippies and going to bloody David Luiz's and Williams restaurant when it was bloody lockdown and breaking all the rules. And he had to play Smith Rowe. He had to play, Saka and everybody else at the time. They saved his job because if he'd lost that game against Chelsea on that Boxing Day, he was in shit alley without a paddle, literally. And I'm like, trust these young players more because they're actually the ones that are doing it. Do you know what I mean, Neil?
I don't know what to say. I feel like Pep might have paid him because he seems to have regressed. Do you remember when he first started and we used to question his game management and his decisions of substitutions? And we used to really say, why is he bringing them on at this time? Or why is he making these? And it's like he's almost gone back. I really feel that this season, we've gone back two seasons or 3 seasons. That's how I feel. The last 2 seasons, we've been brilliant. We have been so good. It's been refreshing to see. 2 seasons ago, it was refreshing with, the energy of Zinchenko and Jesus joining the team and we were doing things. And then last season, we were just exceptional. Rice was on it. All right, we lost Timber early, but Kai Havertz then eventually got into his stride in early 24. And it was just great to see, everything working nicely. I thought on the whole, the substitutions he was making last season and maybe even the season before were a lot better, a lot more cute and more thought, with a little bit of thought and positivity. This season, it's almost as if like he's scared. I feel like he's playing the team with fear, like you said. It's very defensive. We go 2-1 up and we think we can shut up shop. Well, what are you talking about? No, the Arsenal that I have known through the Wenger era, especially, and even recently, it doesn't matter if we're 5-0 up with 1 minute to go. We're still going for the 6th. And now we're having our forward, who's bereft of confidence again, going to the corner flag. I don't know whether he was under instruction or not, but he's going to the corner flag, as you've mentioned. And then the substitutions don't make any sense. I know, again, Skelly, you've got these very, very talented youngsters. If your seniors, as you just said, James, is not going to be doing it, then give them a chance. There's no better forum to do it in. Liverpool are one of the greatest teams ever in football in terms of their reputation and what they've done in their past. Give them, blood them. Why not? Don't be scared. Don't let them have the fear factor, thinking that we smell fear in you because you don't want to trust your talented youngsters. I mean, you know what? Again, I'll bring the pub as a reference. When I think it was Mourinho had that shoulder injury and we thought he's going to go off, Every Liverpool fan that was around me and the ones on my table were going, "Oh no, God, that means they're going to bring on Ethan's going to come on. Oh no." Do you know that? They were scared. That's what I'm talking about. Have faith in your youngsters because they're going to have the hunger to do well. But no, what he'll do, he'll play them all in the Carabo Cup, won't he? I don't understand it. I feel we regressed.
Yeah, and the established players, like I said, they played with fear in that game. And these youngsters, none of them, regardless of who the opposition is, again, I go back to the Spurs game. Ethan Nanieri, as soon as he gets the ball, sends 2 players, bang, see you later. But because he's not scared of nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually that will come, but at the moment, they've got no fear whatsoever, these guys. And I'm like, that's what you need. You need to get some of that into the side. I mean, Russ, I don't know if you obviously where you've come in a bit later on. Yeah, we did mention that. He said, Neil, injuries have a play part. Yeah, they do. But again, like we mentioned, but I think it was probably before you come in. But you're inviting pressure onto a makeshift defence because of the injuries that you had. That to me is just a completely wrong approach to take. And as much as, again, I'll get into this and then we'll wrap it up because we've nearly done over an hour. But I want to know, and I watch everything. I know I watch everything. I know you guys watch a lot more as well, not just Arsenal. But I want to know this season in a game against these big 6, as they market them. They know the Super Sundays, the Monday night footballs, whatever they want to. Whatever days they're on, this disallowed goal incident, right? Well, I want to know what team, especially the team that's the home side, because I think that plays a huge part of it. That's 3 to me. I know you said, Neil, 5 or 6, but that's 3 huge calls in one game. So there's the double kick from Van Dijk, there's the double kick on the penalty, and then this disallowed goal. What other team is going to have 3 bankers go completely? You're not getting any of them against them this year. Kivior, that's never a foul from Kivior. People are saying the Havertz handball. The VAR Twitter account that they've made, imagine that. They've got a Twitter account that has to defend everything they do. Dare any of them come out and actually speak for themselves? They had 2 ex-people that used to be the refs do all their talking for them because they can't speak on their own. They haven't got the bottle to stand there and justify their own decisions in front of everybody else. Like I said to you last week, Neil, everybody's accountable except for these lot. People speak for them. They're borderline ventriloquist people that they've got doing the talking for them. And I cannot see how that has been disallowed. The only thing I can justify it being disallowed on is before Jesus tucks it into the net, I do think Havertz leaves a bit on Trent just to make sure that he doesn't get back in there. But even then, I don't. If that's given, you could give that. That everybody's a foul if that's given. But he does. He gives him a bit of a shove. He does give him a bit of a nudge. But even that.
Yeah, but he blew the whistle before that, James.
Exactly. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
And they're told not to blow the whistle anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To let things play out. And the excuse that I've heard, he's waiting to see if there's an advantage for Liverpool. What?
How? I don't know how you work that out.
If anything, you need to give the free kick to Arsenal because do you remember Harry? I mean, I hate that channel, but there's the viral clip of where Harry Kane ducks, and one of the cast members of that channel, and it's gone. It's a very funny video. If you've not seen it, I will admit it does make me smile. It does make me laugh. But yeah, he says, he's done it again. You've got to give the free kick because I think it's not Jones, is it? He'd have been subbed by that. Who's the Liverpool player?
Szoboszlai.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he bends down.
Yeah.
So you've got to give the foul on Kivior for that.
Yeah.
And then again, that's 90 odd minutes. Free kick on the edge of the box for Arsenal.
Yeah. And then I mean, there's an angle that shows that the referee could have given the free kick when Havertz goes up. He goes up with his arm first and he hits Konate in the face. And then if you see the angle, it looks like that's where he realizes, there's a foul there, and then he's blown it. But again, you could have just let it run through, and you could have just seen how it played out. And I'm sure, like they tried with the Marino goal, they would have probably disallowed it anyway, sort of thing, because it was so late, and we saw they just wanted them to get out there by not losing, by giving that corner as a goal kick. So, but it's shocking, man. I just wish the club stood up and brought a case of them, because I think that's where it's going to eventually end up. You know, a club's going to take the PGMO out to court with what they're doing, because they've seen the manager lose his job. You know, effectively, like you said, with that penalty, West Ham against Man United. Maybe it maybe just delayed the inevitable, probably. You've seen what's happened with Wolves last season, and obviously this season as well. They're still getting some dodgy decisions. So, I'm sure at some point they're going to do it against the wrong club, a club that's got deep pockets. You know, they're fighting with one at the moment, and yeah, I'm sure someone will take them and the FA to court to say, well, look, you know, I just think the whole VAR thing should be taken away from PGMO. It should be done independently by an independent body. People should saying, oh, we should get rid of the refs, but if you get rid of the refs, you're affecting the whole of the football league, and it all trickles down, all that. So you just take away the VAR. You make VAR independent. You don't make it a pals thing. So, if I'm not refereeing this week, I'm going to be on VAR and I'll help you out and stuff like that. We've seen it. You know, Mike Dean's admitted it. Just take it away from them. So it's got nothing to do with them. And then that way it can be independently. You know, you can be transparent. You can see things properly. The audio and all that stuff will come in. Because they don't want to do it, because they're all mates. They don't want to. You know, that's why they haven't brought in AI, semi-auto offsides, because they still want to have that control, you know, over decisions like that. They don't want to give goals when they don't want to give them. So, I mean,
the first thing with the semi-automated offside was because it was made by, I believe, a French company. So because it wasn't like Hawkeye and it was British, can't touch that. We own, you know, everything, because everything has to be British, because obviously we're the best, aren't we? You know, going by the example of our referees, everything that's in our league is the best. And now that they've got the technology, they're saying that they want to implement that. You know, they want to trial it. But
they're the best referees for certain clubs, James. Get it right.
Exactly.
But you know, you were talking about you know, even match of the day, I have to say, they were like dumbfounded with that decision of that not being the goal. So I'm like, where's the foul? I mean, I think I tweeted it or put it on Facebook. Where's the foul? Explain it to me. If I'm stupid and I don't know, show me where's the foul that's transpired to inevitably put that goal, not to make it not a goal. And you know, even match of the day, the pundits are saying that's a really terrible, shocking decision. And the other two incidents I was thinking of, maybe not as big. Obviously, one was where, again, I think Jesus could have or should have had a corner, just very much like Mourinho should have had a corner against Bournemouth, not given, right? That could have led to a different outcome for both games. And then obviously the one that I mentioned earlier where the ball was kicked away by the player, of course, because it's not been hit hard enough, but it was a lot harder than what Rice did. But no card was given. It's just, look, I know people might, again, I feel like I'm making excuses because there's so much to talk about, but surely these do have an impact. But no, I will also agree, playing devil's advocate, that we're not playing anywhere near our best. We're not playing as good as we should. Ross was right. We are plagued with injury, so that does affect it as well. And I think the tactics of the manager is just gone back. He's regressed. He's regressed to before the last two seasons, and I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is. He's being overcautious because he's scared of coming so close again and not winning it, and he just wants to try and tighten things up. I don't think that's the right approach, personally, but I'm not the manager.
Yeah, and I mean, just before we wrap up, you were having the discussion with Bernadette on Twitter, Neil, and I see this discussion with so many different people, and I'm like, neither of you are wrong, because it's hard enough winning it just by being a good enough standard as a football team, which we've not been. But you are blinkered if you, one, don't think we're ref differently, because I've now come and seen the light on this, because it's just plainly obvious. And secondly, it does have an effect. It so does have an effect, because you're just thinking to yourself, what more do we have to do? I mean, we've lost out on 2 titles, Neil.
Let's think about it. Forget us, yeah? We're the ones that watch. We're the fans that watch the game, whether we're live or in the pubs or at home or wherever we might be, right? Think about the players. This is their life. This is their passion, and they're in it. And they think I've just caused potentially a perfectly good winning goal, and it struck off. How does that affect them going into the next game? You know, we're just looking at it from our point of view and how upset we are as fans, but it might be affecting some of the players as well. So it's quite it can potentially have a detrimental effect, something. You know what annoyed me? Was it last season where Wolves went up, did try and challenge something, and Arsenal didn't back them? I was shocked. I think
none of the clubs did.
Well,
Wolves said that they wanted VAR banned.
That was it. Yeah,
like completely removed, and all the clubs voted against them.
Well,
I think it potentially could be different now if that was to happen again.
I'm not saying get VAR banned, but something needs to be challenged. A club has to take a stance, like you guys mentioned earlier. Club has to take a stance and do something about this, because this is a joke. This is a joke, honestly.
Yeah, and it's taken the enjoy. I mean, again, going back to what Melvin said earlier, 60 years plus he's been watching it, and he feels like he's fallen out of love of it, and it's ruining it for him. And I think that's gonna feed down. I think that's gonna get a ton of fans. And the classic quote, "Football without the fans is nothing." But yeah, Preston North End next game. Please don't play Saka, Mikel, if you are listening. I know we've had a bit of a chip at you tonight, but yeah, please don't play him. And if you can help it, please don't play Saliba either, because I know part of you will think that I'll have to play Saliba because I've played other players this week. Please don't. Got bigger games coming up. It's going to be hard enough going against Newcastle, who've basically got, bouncers from Tiger also playing as footballers for them. When you've got 6'7", you've got a 6'7" left back. I didn't think that was a thing. Dan Burn. I don't know any other team in the world that's got a left back that's 6'7". It's unbelievable. I thought a left back's supposed to go up and down.
Tiger, that is so spot on.
I mean, well, I've been up Newcastle, Neil. I haven't been thrown out of that club. I've been thrown out of tons of clubs, but I didn't get thrown out of Tiger in Newcastle. I was actually allowed in there for a significant period of time. But they're just they're a different breed up there. They're nuts. They have, I don't know, they have something like red wine with vodka in it and stuff like that. They're just different breed. Bless them. Absolutely different breed. But yeah, Preston North End. I would like to sit here and say that I've got a lineup. I don't know what he's going to do. A bit like this weekend. I put one in my head that I thought it was going to be. I haven't got a clue. I think that Setford will probably make his debut in goal. He'll probably put Nichols at right back again. The centre backs, one of them's probably going to be Kivior, but I don't know what he's going to do with the other. Left back, I hope it's Zinchenko, because I want to see Skelly in the midfield, but he might swap that and do that.
Yeah.
Jorginho's definitely going to play.
Yeah.
Bryce or Moreno, got no idea. And then for me, I'm playing Sterling, Jesus, and I'm playing Martinelli, because Martinelli needs to get his confidence back. I know people are saying Trossard, but chuck Martinelli on. He needs a goal or something to get him back again.
Yeah, 100%.
Agree with that. Mm.
Yeah, but
no, Ethan though. You didn't mention Ethan.
Oh goodness, you know what? Yeah, screw it. Jorginho, Ethan, and Skelly. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, don't play Rice either. Yeah, there you go.
No,
unleash the Ethan.
Guys, I know you want to finish, James, but have to mention. You got to mention Thomas Partey. He was brilliant.
Oh my word! You know what, Neil? One sec, mate. Yeah, Thomas Partey. Bang. There you go. My man of the match for yesterday. Well played, Neil. You saved me there. Yeah. Spot on. I thought he was great.
He's been our best player this season, right?
Outstanding.
I think he's up there. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Up there. Yeah. Top three then. Top three.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Easily. Yeah. But predictions for that game. I'll go to you first, Mike. Preston.
Yeah, we should have enough for them. I think maybe 2-0. They had a bit. I think they went 3-0 up at the weekend, and then they drew 3-3. So they'll be smarting a little bit. And is it Paul Higginbottom, isn't it, their manager? So he'll wind them up. It'll be a big night for them. We just have to, I think, just show our quality. I think, yeah, I'll go with a 2-0 clean sheet. Would be nice if it is for the kid that comes in. We'll see. Because it's crazy. We can't even play Neto, can we? Because he's cup tied. So it's just mental. But yeah, hopefully, a good win, and hopefully Jesus or Sterling can get a goal or assist just to keep them ticking over as well. If it is Martinelli as well, maybe as well, because obviously, the Newcastle game's 12:30, isn't it? So it's early start up there. So but yeah, I'll go 2-0 tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yeah, and Neil,
I want to restore Melvin and I's a bit of our love for the game again. So I'm going for a 6-2 win, and Martinelli's going to score a hat-trick.
Brilliant. I've done the same as Mike. I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm going to say Ethan's going to score because you need it. Odegaard, I think's out for even longer than he's letting on. I really think, he's being. I know he's a bit coy, but he's being way, way coy with Odegaard. Like
he'll be back after the international break, innit?
Yeah, but I'm like, if he plays those 2 for Norway, but he don't play any for us beforehand, I will lose my head.
Can that happen?
Is that allowed? I don't know.
I don't think that's allowed. I'm not sure, but
really?
I think I think the national team have to get permission or something like that, because they do take into it's like if it's the other way around, isn't it? If a player plays, even if they turn around and say, "Oh, he's injured now," they still got to send him up. In some countries, they still send him up to the camp so they can get assessed by their doctor to say, "Oh yeah, he is legitimately injured." So I don't think if he doesn't play, at all right up to that international break, and I don't think Norway can call him up. I'm not, but whether that's changed, I don't know. I've known that was the case a couple of years ago, but whether that's changed, knowing us, we'll give him to him, and then he'll come back for flipping injured again, won't he?
You know what? I think the people were saying Forest is the destination point now. It was actually this game on Sunday. Apparently, Liverpool was the destination game, but they're now saying it's the Forest one because apparently he's training on grass. So that to me indicates that it can't be that long away. But do you know what? I hope we play him against Forest and still tell him to swivel on it because that's Solbakken.
Yeah, that
he's an arse anyway.
Yeah,
he really is. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how he's acted about the whole thing. But right. Nearly done an hour and 20. Thank you both so much. I know. Sorry, Neil. Sorry. And you, Mike, as well. I know it's nearly 11.
No problem, man. Thanks
I've realised I've made a mistake here because I'm looking at the clock in my room going, oh, it's only 10 to 10. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, better get out there and wind that. But anyway, no, thank you all so much. And Mike, I've got to put everything in the bio, don't worry, but just remind everybody where they can find you and where they can find Arsenal above all, mate, because it's got to be it's got to be listened to. It's in the rotation. If you don't listen to it, you're mugging yourself off.
No, thanks, mate. Yeah, Arsenal above all on YouTube and Twitter handle as well. Instagram, on TikTok, but I don't really do that. I think Steve kind of puts stuff on there. I think every now and again, and
worth doing. Yeah. I've done one. It's worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's going well. Have a show out tomorrow night with Brian and Dan chatting about the nonsense that happened on with PGM. We probably might be going a little bit harder on them on Taylor and stuff and Webb, who seems to be like a celebrity now, doing all this stuff with the overlap and doing all these Q&A, stupidness, it's just nonsense. But no, you can find me on there and try and catch the show tomorrow if you can. Thanks, Jay.
Wouldn't shock me if he's on that island with Philip Schofield soon, the amount of stuff that Howard Webb's doing. But Neil, what about yourself? Where can everybody find you? I know where to go, but where does everyone else?
I try not to be found, but when you lovely chaps always invite me on your amazing shows, that's where you can find me, and it's always an honour to be on both. I'm getting a bit confused now because normally Mike's on this side and you're over there, James. Great. This is brilliant.
Sorry.
This is brilliant. No.
I could probably swap them. I could do that.
No,
I think.
it's not. I'm
If I
only
do that,
joking. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
we could
Right,
we
do
could
you
do all
want to take
this.
over? You can close the show off.
But no, thanks everybody. Take
Thanks a
care.
lot.
And it's
Yeah,
been a pleasure
guys.
as always. All the best. Thank you.